The Nostalgia Critic cannot be here right now due to reasons of vengeance, but he has left a recording before he left for you to enjoy.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Our childhoods kicked ass. Why? Because we were a generation raised by television, and television had cartoons, and kids loved cartoons, hence we loved television. But what were the best nostalgic cartoons? What were the groundbreakers of the 80s and 90s? The biggest innovations, the shows everyone tried to rip off but could never quite duplicate? I don't know. But that doesn't mean I can't make up a top 11 list that claims that I do. Why top 11? Because I like to go one step beyond. So, sit back and enjoy the best of memory lane, the cream of the crop, the ultimate of ultimates. This is the top 11 animated nostalgic TV shows. Number 11. Ghostbusters. Even though it was based on a movie, Ghostbusters was a very original, very funny, and sometimes even very scary cartoon show. I always had a theory that kids like being scared more than they let on, so as long as there's a bunch of funny lines and action sequences to go along with it, chances are you'll have a really fun and inventive kids show. It was kind of like being a fireman, except instead of putting out fires, you were chasing ghosts, which is a hell of a lot cooler. In every episode you would see a new ghost, and every one of them was well thought out and creatively designed. And of course, the Ghostbusters themselves were incredibly funny, capturing the personalities of the movie to a T. And of course, there's Slimer. I really fucking hated Slimer. But everyone else seemed to like him, so what can you do? Despite the flying snotball, Ghostbusters was a heck of a lot of fun. If there's something strange in the neighborhood, you know who to call. Number 10. Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. You wouldn't think a TV show shown every day about Peter Pan would be anything to get worked up over. But the fact of the matter is, this show was very well put together. What made it so great is that it didn't look like any of the other reincarnations of Peter Pan, but to be honest, I think it's the closest it's ever come to the original J.M. Barrie story. The characters were fleshed out, the stories were well developed, and the creative logic was actually pretty clever. For example, there's an episode where Pan steals the shadows from all the pirates. Because of this, they lose their balance and have to walk upside down. That strangely kind of makes sense. There's another episode where they actually make cloud sculptures in the sky. Dude, that's just fucking cool. Plus it had Tim Curry as Captain Hook. Seriously, how can you go wrong with that?
Disgrace the Jolly Roger today, scum, and I'll lay your bones bare!
It's not easy having a good time.
Peter Pan and the Pirates could have been a cheap knockoff that only lasted a few episodes, but they put a lot of time and effort into it, and created something really original, as well as stay true to the original story. All of this is more than enough for Peter Pan to take the number 10 spot. Number 9. DuckTales. Even though Disney had a few shows like this before and a lot more shows after, DuckTales was the first Disney cartoon to combine some of our favorite childhood characters with old-fashioned adventure. It was mostly a treasure hunt show, which meant it led to a lot of creative locations as well as some cool booby traps. It was kind of like Indiana Jones, but with ducks. It didn't need any pop cultural references or subtle in-jokes, it just relied on good old-fashioned characters having good old-fashioned adventures. And of course, need we forget the catchiest theme song of all time? It will never leave, it will never leave. Plus, how does Scrooge McDuck dive into all that money without breaking his skull? Hasn't he converted to dollar bills yet? Well, questions like this don't really need answering when you're having oodles of feather-flinging fun. DuckTales. It will never leave. Number 8. Ren and Stimpy. This cartoon was just nuts. The animation was insane, the voices were insane, the stories were insane, and we loved every minute of it. This is pretty much what kids saw when they were on a sugar high. Absolute madness mixed with undiluted energy. It was so chaotic that even the characters didn't always look right. Like here's Stimpy in one scene, and here he is in another. They don't even look like the same species. Or how about some of these weird jokes?
I'm so happy! I must go do nice things!
Why the hell was the word go in his mouth for a second? Or how about the scene where Ren irons Stimpy's underwear? Okay, first of all, why does Stimpy wear underwear when he wears no other clothes? Why does he just place it over his crotch and not actually wear them? And why does it suddenly look and sound like a 1950s film strip? I don't know. Nobody knows! It's just that kind of insanity that made this show crazy and fun to watch. It also pushed the boundaries of what kids' shows could do, with controversial episodes like
The electric fence,
or strange lines like
Something came out of my butt.
or how about weird morals like
Wetting the bed is nothing to be ashamed of. You and I still do it.
yeah, this was a weird show. Just the kind of kinetic energy, ludicrous logic, and crude humor that kids know and love. Ren and Stimpy, if you didn't like it, you're an idiot!
You sick little monkey.
Number 7. G.I. Joe. If Barbie was considered an all-girl phenomenon, then G.I. Joe was definitely the all-boy phenomenon. This show embodied everything that boys wanted to be when they grew up. Action heroes. It had guys with guns, teamwork, kick-ass gear, some huge friggin' vehicles, and professional wrestler Sergeant Slaughter.
So we're celebrating by giving away Sergeant Slaughter action figures.
Now the show and characters were kind of bland, but let's face it, we didn't watch it for the characters, we watched it for the action. It's like somebody made a show out of the Army games that we were already playing as kids. If someone made a Cowboys and Indians show at that time, my guess is it would do well too. If it had a tank. With all its spy work, military command, and action-packed adventure, G.I. Joe knew how to give the bloodthirsty Marine and every little boy exactly what we wanted. G.I. Joe!